Hello there! Welcome back to another video. It is my birthday this week, which is very, very fun. I'm very happy, I'm very excited. But for that reason, it is going to be a bit of a smaller video this week. Instead of doing a massive project that would take me like 30 hours to complete, I'm doing a smaller project. I want to build my dream house, and I know you're wondering, do I actually know if this house is going to end up being my dream house? No. Now that that's over and done with, we can talk about what I want to do for this. At the moment, I've just got a base for the building. I want to go with this basic shape so I can just add stuff onto it. I've got a basic house. It's bigger compared to my regular bases, actually. I mentioned this in a video a little bit back. It might have been in one of my more recent ones that I often lean towards making smaller builds, as you can tell over there with all these. And as much as I do like making those, you have to put a lot less detail on a smaller build. But with a build like this, I can fit quite a bit of detail on, and hopefully I can make something that I'll really enjoy in the end. And I've got a couple ideas of things that I want to do in this. I kind of want to do something with a tree attached to the building, and these ideas, they're not finished yet, and they really me just throwing things at a brick wall and hoping something sticks. But, you know, sometimes eggs aren't always boiled, so maybe they will not work. I made that phrase up on the go, and I'm not 100% sure if it made sense, but I hope it did. And if it didn't, pretend it did, because then I'll sound smart. I've got a bunch of ideas. I'm really happy. I really want to show you guys this. Wish me a happy birthday. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Birthday gift, you know. I'm really abusing this birthday thing. As per usual, I did a thing and I added more to the house. I did like details on the front, and as you can see, I haven't detailed the back or the sides, and there's a very specific reason for this, which I won't get into now because it's too complicated. Now, as you can see around the front here, I've tried to fill it in with as many areas as possible. There's a lot of techniques I've learned recently about building that are quite interesting, and the first one I want to mention is filling space and the weight of a build. And the weight of a build is a very interesting concept, and I think I've heard other people talking about it. I really hope I'm not making that up like on the spot, but basically, if you see like a line like this, and this is going to be a really basic interpretation, I hope I'm analyzing and showing what the case is correctly. This would be weighted to the left because you've got that like triangular shape here where it's weighted to the left. This here would be weighted more, this here would be weighted more to the right, and something like this will be weighted towards the middle. From what I think you need in builds is you want even distribution of weight. So you'd more want something like this, but because you know the build's going upwards, we can move this one going up a bit, and then maybe this one goes down. But as you can see, overall, the whole build has got that weight, and maybe in an area where it's a bit empty, you can add another detail there, and maybe I was going to add one there because I think it would look like a smiley face, but I know that's not the right thing to do, and it just makes the weight go to the bottom. But yay, it's a smiley face on accident. But yeah, and then in this case, you would add like one there, I think, and that sort of like, you know, it evens out. It makes everything work pretty well. I think something like that design there. I mean, I'm trying to make this in the I'm trying to show what I mean in the best way possible, but basically, if we bring that idea that I just mentioned over into this big base, everything's weighted pretty evenly. This area has got a big chunk here. This all feels like one complete area. Then when you go up this, it's going to be a lot of curves, so there's going to be a lot of detail here anyway when it's a roof. But then these chimneys here help fill in this whole gap because you get this feeling in your idea in your mind that they go down through the whole building, although they don't. And this window helps fill in this space, and this you know, this chunk here helps fill in this space, and overall that helps make the build feel very evenly distributed and just makes it look very nice. Also threw together a basic color palette here. I don't generally make color palettes, but I thought I would for this one because making color palettes is generally a good practice. I just forget to do it sometimes, which isn't great on my part, gonna be honest. So I'm gonna try and get into it. As for the shape of this build, I'm kind of going Mystery Shack-esque with just some like BWO touches in. If you saw his moss base from Hermitcraft season 8, was it? 8 or 9? I think it might be 9. Hermitcraft season 9. And I'm trying to like do that same sort of similar thing with the roof. That's why there's moss here and things. But yeah, this looks very lovely so far. I like a lot of the details, a lot of the areas. There's still a lot I need to do, and I know I joked at the beginning about this being too complicated. I just haven't got around to deciding the size yet of what I'm going to put there. It's not going to be as complicated as this front. Frankly, it might just be like a window or two, because I really want to focus on this front view, and then these side ones can come later. You know, I do finish the back of my bases, but I don't finish them well. So yeah, I've done a little more, and I've made the front of the house. I know I sound a little tired, and my new job it's something. It's something. So yeah, I'm a little tired from that, and I've done some interesting choices. I think white was a bit of a weird choice on my part for this part, so I might change it. I might not. It's Thursday currently, and I've still got a lot of this house left to finish, so I might end up having to grind this out, maybe time lapse the rest of it, so that we can just have a bit of a fun end to the video where I just talk over the time lapse, and then I can put all the work onto myself on Friday, which is my editing day. If you didn't know, if you're new to the channel, I want to talk about some elements though, some things that I have made. When I wanted to add this little chunk on the house, and I did say this would be my dream house at first, and my dream house does have a red hot pipe on it for some odd reason, but it adds a nice color finish, so I guess I'm keeping it. This house is kind of steampunk, I guess, but it's just the things I want. I'm imagining it's like a bakery, like it's one big bakery, and on the inside there's tons of things going on, hence the smoke and all the chimneys and the pipes and all that sort of lovely stuff that looks very lovely on the it looks very nice on the base. It adds a lot to it. It creates this cool atmosphere, and I just need to make it work now, because there are certain elements that don't, the white for one purpose. One thing I do like, and I've seen this on some other people's bases, and I really do like this, so I wanted to try it out for myself, is you have these diagonal bits in some people's bases, but then they break it up by adding a slab in, and it adds like a little bit of a broken down feel. And don't ask me why my house is my dream. It's going to keep on being a point of contention that this is my dream house, yet it's running down and it's breaking and there's moss growing on the ceiling. So, you know, take that as you will. I probably just have bad choices. Like, don't trust me to buy a house, because I think I think my roommate might hate me, because I think I'll have a roommate one day. Then when I scream in videos, he'll be like, or they'll be like, "What? Why are you screaming? Stop being annoying!" And then I'll be like, "Dude, you signed up for this. This is your fault. Welcome to the Nut House, people. Admissions are free." I like adding in little details as I go along. I think I like the white on the chimney here, but I don't know if I like it down here. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll see what I add on. I'm gonna do the smoke for these bits next, and maybe I can show you a bit of my idea of how I came up with the smoke design for that last one. It's basically, I did something along the lines of this, and then I just taper it off slowly, and then eventually we get like that shape, right? And then if that doesn't look good enough, then I change the shape, maybe add a little curve in. And obviously the idea is that you want to keep that curve of what this is, even though the shapes of these things are going to be different as the wind goes up. You want to keep the curve, natural looking. So a wind thing is, wind isn't going to be like perfectly normal. It's going to sometimes move back and forth, and it's going to shake a bit. So having a bit of rhythm that you can see in all of your smoke kind of helps it feel more realistic and adds a lot more movement where it wasn't there before. And I hope you can see what I'm doing right now. So if I just bring it in and then I bring it across like this, and you're gonna see it a little more by doing that, and that shape works pretty well. And then I think I can curve that in a little more, because that would be changing the way the wind works there. Yeah, I quite like that. I think that works pretty nicely for what I'm trying to do. I think that, yeah, I'm just going to work on this shape a little more for the smoke up the top, and then when I have a good shape, I can just, I can put in all the glass, I can do all the shading. And I did shading with light grey glass here, which looks very nice. I think it adds like a little bit of it. It doesn't add so much to it that it looks overbearing, but it adds a little bit of a blur to the edge of the smoke, which you always kind of want. You want a bit of a thing to make it, make it look more realistic, which is quite a cool way of building. I mean, well, that's what we're doing here today. We're trying to make my dream house. We're trying to make it realistic in the best way possible. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I did end up deciding to do a time lapse for this final bit because I was like so tired when I was recording this. So I went in, I just like recorded, I churned it all out, and I finished the build. So these are the final moments, and I'll just let you watch that in peace. Well, anyways, everybody, that's what my house will look like. That's the one I want to make. Yeah, that I really am this video's not, I don't know how this video is going to turn out. I don't know if it will be great or if it will be bad. I do like the design of this house in the end. It looks pretty cool. It's got some details that I really like on it. It's just nice. The sides are very basic. Being honest, they are very basic, and there's not a lot I want to do about this. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to worry so much. I like a lot of the designs on the front, and I think the front was the thing that I really wanted to focus on. There's one thing that I really did want to focus on, and it's this little curve that I added on. I want to do it on more buildings now because I really like the shape that it gives a house. Now this isn't perfect, and I think I've mentioned this, but it's nice. It's nice for what we could do this week. The real challenge will definitely be next week because I don't want to be someone who moans a lot, but I've got a new job, and it's very difficult because it's early mornings. It gives me a lot of time to record YouTube videos in the day, but by the time I get home, I am very tired. So I trying to keep up the energy, trying to make big videos like I have been doing, and that's been like, I've been spending like 30 hours a week on videos, and I don't know if I'll be able to continue doing that. I'm going to try my hardest, and hopefully over time I can build up back to that point where I have the energy to make videos like that. But for now, I'm going to keep on making things that are interesting, that are fun, that are unique. And this is my first time making a YouTube video in 1 week with a full-time job. So it's a bit silly. It's a bit OTT, but I'm glad that we managed to finish it. I'm glad that it turned out nicely. I hope in the future that I can, I can make better progress. I can be a YouTuber that acts like a YouTuber, does cool stuff. I hope you did enjoy the video. I hope you liked it. I want to do a path out here, very simple now, which would be very nice, like something like that. Just basic, something to give the house a little more feel. I forget that I have this turned on. Yeah. But as you can see, that looks very nice. That gives a little vibe to it. I get a shovel out. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in another video. Hopefully the next one will be a little bit bigger because, as I mentioned, this week it was my birthday. If you could leave a comment saying anything you'd want to see in videos in the future, that'd be great. Join my Discord. I forget to say that in videos at the moment, but we have some really awesome people in my Discord. They're making really cool art. They're sharing all this stuff. And I honestly am so happy to see all of it. I think I've got the coolest community ever. I feel like I'm like putting down other Minecraft users when other people who watch them, but no, I do love the community I've grown. It's not massive and it's not like the biggest thing in the world, but it's nice after all these years of making content to have people who watch and they comment and they talk about what I'm doing. It's such a great motivator, and I'm so happy and thankful for you guys. So I think that's all I've got to say today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm not going to do any more further ado. Let's do the final thing. Bye bye.